Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. In today's episode, we're covering all the recent announcements and updates regarding Disney trips in 2020.
Come along as we tell it like it is and share our thoughts on all the news.
Yeah. So, emphasis on tell
Big
it like it
news.
is.
Tell it like it is and big news.
Very big. So, I guess this will be across all of Disney in general, but it's for the most part relative to 2020. But first, let's talk about Disneyland because there's a big update there.
My first love.
Yeah, exactly. And the only small world ride, in your opinion.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
okay, so Disneyland had tentatively announced plans for their reopening that were still pending the state approval, just like Florida when they initially announced their plans. It, of course, had not been fully approved yet. And so now we are learning that the state will not be providing any kind of guidance or official rulings or anything on the reopening of theme parks until, what was it, like mid-July, mid this month?
Yeah, I think so. There's too many dates to keep
I
track
know.
of right now.
Yeah, totally. I can't do it either. But the important thing is that Disney has decided to kind of go back on the dates that they had thrown out there for the reopening. And this is on the heels of not only the information coming from the state about the approval, but also a pretty big petition. And I think there was even a march or something from cast members
Yeah.
at Disneyland about their concerns for safety and lots of other factors that could occur upon reopening. So we
Right.
absolutely love our cast members, so we support them 100%. And it is scary. I mean, if you think about that being your job and having to make a decision between, you know, the economy coming back and making money and being able to pay your bills and being able to stay safe and not sick, that's a really
Mhm.
terrible position to be in.
Right. I mean, these people have families just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a hard position to be put into just for fun, I guess, because it's not essential to
No, but at the
everybody
same
else.
time, that's how they make their money. So it's the
Yeah,
epitome of being put between a rock and a hard place. So
agreed.
that's a really hard one. And our thoughts go out to them during all of this. And we completely hear, I know that a similar petition has happened in Florida. And I don't think we talked about this yet, but it had either come on the heels of or right around the same time as that news coming out of Disney Springs where there was a guest that spit on a cast member that is horrible to even hear. Like, I am appalled and I
That's
am embarrassed on their
disgusting.
behalf. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's disgusting. I mean, coronavirus or not, it's gross and rude and so disrespectful. And I definitely feel bad for that cast member
Yeah.
because, I mean, well, nobody deserves that. Oh,
And I feel really
gosh.
bad for the family members and friends of that guest who felt that that was their right to do or an appropriate response to whatever it is, what they were upset about being told to put their mask on. So I think we obviously we're not there.
Right. We don't
Um,
know.
we don't know. And we do want to make that clear because, you know, obviously, but I think that regardless of whether or not it actually happened, the concept of it potentially happening and, you know, how we as guests of Disney need to handle ourselves and remember to treat others with respect, especially cast members, because as you and I know, we've both worked in hospitality or, you know, restaurants, servers and
Customer service.
customer
Yeah.
service. Yeah. Any of those areas where we completely understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of someone who's not happy. And we can also attest to the
Yes.
fact that the customer is not always right.
That is very true. Hmm.
So it's sad and it's disappointing. And so, anyway, that's a good segue into Walt Disney World updates. As of right now, their reopening plans are still on track, even though there is a petition from cast members at Walt Disney World, also just with concerns about health and safety for themselves.
Hmm.
Um, and So yeah, we have a lot of other, in addition to that one, which is really sad and, you know, kind of heavy of a topic to talk about. There are some updates that are heavy and there are some that are lighter that we would just want to kind of chit chat about.
Yeah.
So the first one on a much lighter note is the update to Magic Bands.
Mhm.
So the news coming out of Disney was that the complimentary Magic Bands, not all Magic
Right.
Bands,
Right.
just the free ones that you get that are the solid colors, which we're going to talk about Magic Bands. So of course I had mine ready. So these are,
Mine are in the basement.
with the exception of this one, these are all the complimentary solid color that come with your order. So I'm just trying to get each of the colors. So this trip in particular, I picked yellow, and I guess Molly picked green, and Bob didn't have a solid gray yet. Actually, we do have solid gray, but it's in the 1.0 style.
Which is funny because we collected them, all the colors, but we did it collectively as a family, not me, myself, get,
Right.
The rainbow and gray and all of that. Because there's so many fun things that you can do with it, all the things that you can order on Etsy and all of that. But
That's right.
The new ones, very exciting.
But
there's so many different ones.
Them coming free is going away.
Right.
So you can still get them. I know. Bye. You can still get them. You can still order them. I think the solid colors are $10 if you have a trip. So let me back up. Magic Bands can always be purchased on Shop Disney or at the parks and resorts that sell Magic Bands. And the Magic Band system is still in place. So you still will be able to use a Magic Band to pay for things and open your room and,
Fast
enter the
passes.
ticket. Yeah, enter your park tickets, enter the park with your tickets attached. And so historically, Disney had a program in place that if you had an upcoming resort reservation, you could get complimentary Magic Bands, which are the solid color standard ones, or you could upgrade as part of your upcoming reservation, which is what we did for this one. And then I have another. These ones are all the upgrade version. So we have Descendants, and we have a Grumpy and a Princess one. So you basically are given the opportunity to purchase, sometimes exclusive to hotel guests that are not available on Shop Disney, and other times ones that are available to purchase, but at a reduced price. So if a Magic Band, for example, is normally $30, you might be able to purchase it for $20 or $15 as part of your resort reservation.
Right. They seem to be 10, 15, and 20 right now on the site.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on which one. I want to say that one of the ones that we got was the exclusive Riviera Mickey one.
That is so cute.
So yeah, for our split stay, we all got a Mickey one. Just a different style. So everyone just got a different Mickey, even though I kind of wanted the mini one. But I was like, no, it'd be cute if we all got Mickey this time. And, there will be other times to get other cute ones. And I think, I want to say almost all of them were an exclusive of something. Nice. And right now they have a super cute Run Disney Mickey, which was very tempting. But I went with, what did I get? The mini?
Yeah. The pink mini.
Did I?
Right? I thought that's what you said.
No, I picked the 2020 family vacation.
Oh,
remember?
Yes.
Because obviously that's an exclusive limited time offer.
Right. Hello,
Maybe
2020. Right. May or may not.
Yes. Yeah. So for the other part of the stay, I ordered that one, and I can't wait for that to get here. But there's the tracking numbers there, but I just can't track them.
Yeah. It should come.
Anyway, it's so worth it. And also what you were saying in the stores, they have the solid colors. They have so many more solid colors. They have some really pretty ones that I've been very tempted to buy a couple of times.
Yeah, they have an awesome aqua and then a pale pink.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. We have similar colors too. Similar favorite colors.
Those will happen someday, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at my Magic Bands, which are on display. in my office here. Yeah, they do have really cute ones. I don't think that we've purchased any of the interesting and different. There's also like a lilac purple. But they're a reasonable price too. And then you can still do all those fun things on Etsy or like painting on your own. There's a lot of different DIY things. I started
so many different ideas.
Yeah. So very fun. So that's the update. So it's not a huge, I mean, in my opinion, it's not a huge deal, the change that they have made. They're basically just saying that they're not going to do complimentary ones anymore.
I like the idea that this might be something that us as TAs might be able to use as gifts or maybe giveaways or like exclusive sort of things like that we could do maybe on our Instagram page.
Yeah, since we're speaking of magic bands. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, no, yours hasn't arrived yet. So I was just going to say, I can quickly show, I guess, the latest order that we got. Of course, both girls wanted the Descendants purple magic band. So now they have exactly the same one. Luckily, when you do your pre-order as a resort guest, you can put an inscription. So they each have their name on them.
Right. Underneath. Then, yes.
Right. On the back side. And then I ended up going with Grumpy for Bob because it's totally appropriate. And then I got the princess because primarily for the light pink color, because I like to coordinate with my outfit.
Of course.
Of course.
Which is why I almost got the white one because I loved it so much, but there will be other ones.
There will be. There will be more trips where we can upgrade because the magic bands are here to stay and not going anywhere, which I do very much appreciate. I love that feature of a Disney trip. You want to talk about the all-inclusive feel and not having to worry about carrying around a wallet, worrying about the security. Nothing. Yeah, I have to carry my DVC card and phone. Yeah, which is nice. That's why I like this Disney case because it has my little pockets in here. So
we won't talk about my iPhone cases.
No, we won't.
That apparently the post office is keeping.
They're MIA.
All of them. I don't understand. Anyway.
Okay. Moving on. Switching topics to one that is a little bit heavier, actually quite a bit heavier, and relevant to what we're going through right now as a country, as a world, actually. So coronavirus, COVID-19, it's not going anywhere. There are several states throughout the United States that have reduced, flattened their curve or, even sent it in the other direction. We happen to live in one of those states in New York. So we're happy about that. And we're very lucky. That being said, there are states that are actually going in the opposite direction right now, such as Texas and Florida. And so that's, we've talked about this before. That's one of the concerns and the factors that we're constantly tossing over in our heads as we think about whether we keep our August trips, because we do obviously care about the safety of our family and also, being part of the spread. So it's something that we have to take into consideration, and the rise in cases in Florida is a concern. There are a couple of updates that are coming out right now that have to do with those rising cases. Two of the most important ones that we wanted to talk about today are the alcohol ban and the enhanced travel restrictions that have since taken place.
Right. So even if we wanted to go, we actually may not be able to go because our governor has put in place that if you travel to a few different states, which more just got added on. Yeah. One of them is Florida. You have to quarantine when you come back for 14 days. And it's funny, I saw, I think on the news or something, that they're opening up these places where you can go and quarantine, which is crazy to me. But anyway, that's an option for our daughter and I, but there's no way that he could take 3 weeks off of work to come back and quarantine for 14 days. Same. So not only may we cancel because of the virus in that sense, but we may have to cancel because we literally cannot go.
Right.
It's just not an option.
Right. And actually, before this recent update that we're talking about today, there was already a restriction in place in the state of Florida on our state. And we think that it didn't apply to where we are. We're upstate. We're not in the tri-state area region,
Right.
which is the
Mhm.
New York City metro kind of area, which contains Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, sort of surrounding New York City areas. We're not anywhere close to there. We're about 2.5 hours from New York City. So that was a factor before where we're not really 100% sure whether or not we could even get into the state of Florida. And now the issue is actually the opposite, where their cases are on the rise and we're not even sure we want to go to Florida at all. And even if we do, we would have to self-quarantine when we return to New York as of right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the other, I guess, sort of fallout effect of the rise of cases is that the state of Florida, and I forget the name of the actual government agency that put the restriction in place, but they have now put a ban on alcohol. And that obviously has an impact on Disney World as well. So I saw a couple of articles already coming out about restaurants and bars that have either changed their hours or issued a change in their services or closed altogether
Or
if they were
closed,
just a
right.
bar, right?
Mhm.
So we're seeing that, and it's just starting. So the travel ban, the alcohol ban was
Alcohol
just
ban.
announced. 2
But
days
it's
ago?
it's not an alcohol ban all around, right? It was an alcohol ban if your establishment made their money off of alcohol 50% or more, right?
I believe so.
Which is why some restaurants were staying open, because their food is what gets them their money, not their alcohol.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah. So what it stems from
it's like
essentially,
a tricky ban.
well, I think it comes down to the reason why it's in place and what was happening. So what
Yeah.
they were finding specifically in like the states of Texas and Florida was kind of where this initiated, because both have done something similar as of right now. What they
Mm-hmm.
were finding was that bars that had been allowed to reopen were attracting crowds that were not
Mm-hmm.
social distancing and not wearing masks. Because obviously, how are you going to keep a mask on while you're trying to drink your beverage?
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It just means that they probably shouldn't have reopened, because what was happening was these places were getting packed. No social distancing was sort of being followed. And of course, it's not all bars that this was happening to. So some of the ones that were actually doing the right thing are now
Mm-hmm.
suffering from this
Right.
change.
Paying the consequence. Yeah.
Yeah. But, again, we have a, certain group of people that just weren't following the mandates and the guidelines and the advice that's been given and thrown out there to kind of keep these cases down and keep the curve going in the right direction, which is unfortunate.
It's like being in school. One person can ruin it for the whole class.
Exactly. Have you seen
So
that meme lately? That's like the people wearing the masks are probably the same kids that were the only ones doing the project work in school. It's hilarious, but sadly true, that equating the ones who are actually following the rules and wearing the mask and doing the social distancing and stuff are probably the same kind of kids that were the ones doing all the work on the group project. Yeah. Yeah. Funny-ish, but sad, but true.
I did see a funny video about what it would be like if kids were to go back to school and wear masks.
Ugh, don't even get me started on that topic.
It was just funny though. I mean, like lifting the mask, sneezing, putting pencils up the nose, and then like looking like a walrus. There's just like so many different things. Like, hey guys, I got a new mask. It's pink. Pulling the mask down to tell them. Anyway, it was funny.
Which totally
funny, but not funny.
No, because it totally outlines how ridiculous if masks are helping, which they are, we know that.
Yeah.
And they are required, and they're going to be required through, I don't know, like the end of 2020, then the return to school is just, what are they going to do? The entire day is going to, we're digressing.
Yeah, we are.
This is totally par for the course for us. But anyway, let's get back to Disney, because there's no school at Disney. Luckily.
There's no school at Disney, and there's still alcohol. So we good.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Well, it's not all gone.
No.
And if you want it, you can find it.
Yeah. And I do think that they're going to figure out, there's only a certain couple of places thus far that have announced that they're really, either drastically changing their hours or even closing temporarily. while the ban is in place. So yeah, we're definitely not talking about prohibition, but it's just it's just changes to facilitate enhanced health and safety measures that are needed right now. It's not
So
forever.
we'll keep you updated on the
Right.
changes because next week it'll be different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the alcohol ban could be lifted or it could be worse. The travel ban could be lifted or it could be worse. But I really hope that all these things get figured out before I have to pay my balance.
I know. Yeah. Or just like make
Hashtag true
finalized
story.
decisions, you know. We're in the midst right now of this planning series where we're talking about all the different steps to plan our trips, and we're sharing how we've been planning our upcoming August trips. And that's the crazy part, because we're going to get to some of these follow-up. We just did dining, so that was another update. As of yesterday, June 30th, anybody who has an upcoming reservation through, I think it's September 2nd, whose dining or experience reservations that they had previously booked were canceled due to the closure and then reopening, changes. We were all able to rebook our dining experiences for whatever's available up to 60 days in advance. So
Yep.
that was kind of a big day for us to be able to make those selections, still experience some system issues. I did anyway. I don't know if you did.
Well, I didn't. As we
You
talked
didn't
about in
book
the
a
last
ton. That's
episode,
right.
yeah, because we're probably going to do a lot of quick service
Mhm.
because we don't have the dining plan, and so it's just not. There's no character dining, and there's no place that I have to go to right now. Yeah, this whole trip is going to be. We've said it before, like fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing.
Yeah, totally different than we normally do Disney.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
100%. I'll
yeah.
probably get a grande instead of a venti. Well, to be honest, I always get the venti, because it's on my snack. It's a snack credit.
Right.
Because you can get any size. And sometimes we get 2 a day. And so you need another coffee around 3:00, after lunch, before dinner. And I get the venti. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I can't finish this. So I'll just, give myself the coupon and order the grande.
Don't forget, though, you are able to use your affinity points for not just Starbucks, but you can still use that at the Disney locations. So you can use your points to order a drink too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rack them up.
That isn't what I was going to say, though. I forgot already.
I got a whole bunch.
We need Starbucks shirts. I just saw one on Shop Disney, I think, and it says I run on caffeine and Disney.
Disney?
Yeah.
Like my shirt or like my cup.
Oh yeah.
I run on caffeine and Disney.
Is that from Shop Disney?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think they did a shirt and
yes,
a cup,
I got it
mug.
at Disney. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay. On to switching gears again to a lighter topic. We're going to end the Walt Disney World updates on a little bit lighter topic for some. And that is a big announcement about the changes to Splash Mountain, which you and I are divided on our opinion of. So why don't you go first?
So Splash Mountain, it has a strange little piece of my heart. When I go over to Frontierland in that particular area, I immediately start thinking of a movie that I watched when I was a kid called Savannah Smiles, where she tells this cute little story about Briar Rabbit, Briar Fox, and
Bear Bear.
The bear. Thank you. And anyway, it's a joke, just like in Splash Mountain, how they're, it's a chase, and then how he gets them in the end, and then she starts singing like born and raised in the Briar Patch. And so Paisley and I we're always singing that when we go over there. So I don't know, it just has like a little special piece of my heart, and I feel like it's bright and colorful, and I feel like it's funny. Yes, I do think that a lot of people don't understand it, and it's like outdated in that sense. But I really love it. It's like one of those nostalgic things that I don't want to go away. I could probably name a couple of other rides that should be updated as opposed to that one first. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not super excited. So the fact that they're going to change it over to Princess and the Frog, I think it's adorable. And I was actually just talking to some friends about how they're changing it over, and they said that their children were afraid of Splash Mountain now, like the scenery of it, because it can get a little dark. And I thought to myself, I could totally see Princess and the Frog being dark. What is his name? And it's
Facilier?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be in it. At least that's what I was hearing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's true.
You got to
of any
tell the
ride.
whole story. And I also don't understand how New Orleans fits over there. But
so I've heard lots of theories about that one, which I'll talk about. But I do want to preface and sort of interject in here that we both, this is sort of like a disclaimer. We both fully understand why the ride is being changed and the concerns about the backstory on the movie that is the inspiration. And this is by no means that we don't disagree with not making changes to something that would offend or alienate or create social injustice in any way. So that our opinions about this ride literally have to do with the facade, like the exterior,
right.
not the
right. It has nothing to do with the other. Yeah.
No, we are 100% for getting rid of anything that would offend somebody or make them feel badly, or highlight an era or a period of our history in America that's not good.
Right.
By any
and I
means.
will also add that even though the initial news made me sad, it doesn't mean that I don't think that it's going to be awesome.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right.
Because I think that they're going to crush it and it's going to be great. But
my perspective on it is a little bit different in that even for things that I have a really emotional tie to, like you do for this ride, which I don't have, I will, blanket statement that. Even for things that I do have that attachment to, I know that Disney is all about constantly changing. It was one of Walt's sort of, not a mission statement,
there's
but like
a saying. There's
a saying about it, a quote of his, but it was essentially, it was a key feature of these parks was to never let it get stale or old. We always have to be moving, changing, growing, moving forward. There's somewhere in there is the context or the crux of the quote that we can't remember right now. But
I know
the whole concept of it, the whole concept of it is that it's always changing. And it's something that I fully appreciate about Disney because it allows me to go back year after year after year and never feel like, oh, been there, done that. It's something that I'm just over. I could take it or leave it. Let's try something else. And then ultimately, people would be choosing to go someplace else like Universal or SeaWorld or Busch Gardens. So
agreed.
For me, that's a key part of Disney. And if they weren't doing things like this, then I wouldn't love them as much. I have to be honest,
Yeah.
And so even for the things that, the big one for me is Spaceship Earth. That I do have huge connections to and emotional
and I don't.
memories. See? And so we're flip-flopped. It's the same concept. It's changing. They're going to be changing it. The ride is going to stay. The structure of it, just like with Splash Mountain, is going to stay, but they're changing the storyline and the theming around it. And as much as it hurts my heart to think that I'm no longer going to be able to thank the Phoenicians or smell Rome burning, it's still like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not against it. I'm happy. I personally love Princess and the Frog. I love Princess Tiana. I think that what they've chosen,
movie.
It is so good. Yeah. Such good themes, such good like female empowerment.
Right. Great story. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, constantly persevering and chasing your dreams and keeping at it and never giving up. I just love it. And I think that it couldn't be, there are probably, I don't know, a handful of different movies I can think of that really deserve a spot at Disney. And I'm sure that they're all going to eventually get there. Like Tangled totally deserves more than a bathroom. I'm just saying.
And a photo.
Well, yeah, good point. You could do
I do
the
love the
lantern.
photo.
We haven't done that one yet. You guys have that.
Yes.
It is fun. I mean, yeah, and the bathrooms, best bathrooms, arguably on Disney property. But it deserves more than that, you know. And I think that there's a lot of different movies, and I think there's way more movies and sort of memories of Disney than there are opportunities for rides. So it's a good way to constantly be, not constantly, but like every so often, having a refresh, a refurb.
And I will add to this 2 things. One, I saw a petition of people trying to get so that it doesn't happen.
Come on.
I saw that.
Come on, people.
They have nothing else to do. I mean, I don't know. And 2, something else that was changed that had a little piece of my heart in Disneyland was the submarine voyage ride. And I remember
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Yeah, thank you.
That's my favorite ride at Walt Disney World. #1 all-time favorite ride when I was a little girl.
The one where you go under in the submarine? Yeah. So in Disneyland, it's changed to a Finding Nemo theme.
Okay.
Which I haven't done. I don't think I did anyway.
And in Disney World, it's gone.
There's no way.
It's long gone.
That's what threw me off.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I went on it in Disney World. But anyway, that was like one of those things that was super cheesy, totally needed an update. I did watch a video a couple years ago on it because I was like, oh, they changed it. So I have to see what it's like. And that was one of those rides that needed the, I'm going to say refurbishment, but what is the
refurb? Oh, like an overhaul to the ride?
Anyway, they did it. It's great. It's better. I shouldn't say it's great because I haven't been on it, but it needed
the reviews of
that.
It are good.
Yeah. Better than it was. I mean, it was just so super cheesy before, and I'm sure it's cheesy still, but it's like more fun for little kids now because they can relate to it. And there's the Finding Dory outside the window and or Dory, not Finding Dory, Dory and Nemo outside the window. So it's like a story now. Before it was a little on the creepy side, but I still loved it.
Yeah, and things. You talk about kids going to Disney and going on that ride and not being able to relate because they've never seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So they have no clue of the Nautilus or anything. So yeah. And that's no different than, truthfully, Song of the South. Most, I would say, of probably close to our age or younger have probably never seen it. Yeah. So, I haven't either. And I just think that, you have to keep up with the constant updates to make it fresh and fun and new and relevant and, engaging for people because, it's unfortunate. The flip side argument is, all these people are, clamoring to keep the ride the same. And the flip side is that they'll, be the same first people to throw out that, something is just so dated or, how could we keep going to Disney over and over and over again? Because everything stays the same. I don't know. It's just.
Which is so not
make everybody happy.
Every year I've gone, there's something new. So that is
totally
not even close to true. But
like
anyway.
I said, it's literally one of my favorite things about Disney because it is a different experience every time we go. And it's the reason why I can't tell you how many people, family members, friends, and just, strangers who are like, how can you go and do the same thing vacation after vacation after vacation? And it's super easy.
I don't.
Nope.
But you don't.
Exactly.
That's how you don't. That's how you don't. Anyway.
Okay. So deep breaths on Splash Mountain. It's all going to be okay. It's going to be fun. All right.
It's a great movie to do it. So it'll be great. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So the next thing that we wanted to mention really quickly, we have not yet ordered ourselves, so we can't give an actual product review, but there is a lot of hubbub and buzz out there about the Shop Disney masks that you can order. And there's, I think, probably 5 different styles, and they come in packs of 4. Yeah. And they come in sizes small, medium, and large. And so the big news that's coming out of that is that they run extremely small.
Right. Not just a little small.
No. It would be
But
interesting if you did order the size large, just to see if they actually do fit you, because I know that you have been fitting into the kid size. So it would be interesting.
maybe I only do have one chin.
But the proper fitting mask goes from the bridge of your nose to underneath your chin, like I am playing. So there are sizes or measurements listed on Shop Disney, and I don't know if people are just not paying attention to those, or they're kind of off in terms of what sizes it says it's fitting, because I thought I've had it in my shop, have had some of them in my shopping cart a couple of different times now, and I've just never gone through with the purchase, primarily because I wasn't sure on the sizing and I didn't want to order without kind of knowing that. But obviously if we are going in August, I want Disney face masks for us.
Right.
And
I wasn't hitting the buy shop button going through with it because I was like, we're not going to need them. I was in
denial or positive, optimistic mindset.
I don't know. I guess you can judge me on that one. But I think I might order them now because for the same reasons, because I would want some, and Paisley and I seem to be in the same size. So, which is weird, but yeah, we should, when we do our shopping haul, even though they're not Disney, I should show the ones that I got from Target so I could give a little review on those, because
I have Target too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, but mine are the adult small size.
Well, I got quite a few different sizes, so we could do that. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll have we'll probably do a whole Real Talk episode just on masks. Or you know what? We should probably do that when we get to the packing what do you call it? Episode of the planning series. Okay. I'll get it out eventually. Wait for it.
That's a good idea.
Today, Junior. Anyway.
Okay, split stays. Moving on.
Yeah, let's talk about our last and final topic for today, we think. Unless we go off on another tangent. So I just want to throw in here real quickly, because I realized that in some of our planning series episodes and some of our Real Talk, we've been throwing out the concept of split stay and we never really defined it. And because I want to talk a little bit about how we're considering, I know you've mentioned quite a bit, but I haven't so much, about how we're considering making some changes to our split stays. So I just referenced it when we were talking about magic bands, because I was able to place, and you were able to place, a couple of different orders for magic bands because we have split stays. But essentially what that means is that we have separate reservations with separate confirmation numbers for each one that are back-to-back sort of adjoining reservations for different hotels, resorts at the Disney property for our upcoming trips. So we might have our trip, let's say from August 20th to August 30th is the stay. And the first 5 days, 5 nights of that stay are at one resort, and then the second 5 are at another. So you basically pack up on your checkout day for your first resort, get everything packed up. Bell services, usually, we have yet to confirm that this is the case for 2020, but normally Bell services will assist with taking your bags and getting them to your next resort that you're off to. And then you find a way to get yourself there, buses, whatever transportation is available at the time, to get over to that next resort. And then you do your check-in, get to your new room, and then finish out your reservation there. Ours just happened to be 2, but of course it could be, lots of different hotels that you were staying at. I mean, technically you could stay at a different resort every night.
You could. I mean, and also if you're going for 3 weeks, which people do, each week you could switch just to have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
So there's no limit on the days that you want to do the split stay. So if you want to stay at Pop for 2 nights and then you want to stay at Old Key West for 17, you can.
Yep. And
I mean, if it's available, obviously.
Right. In addition to our friends that are overseas that come usually for a long, extended period, because it probably costs so much to fly over here. Probably the other most common sort of way that people do split stays is when they're doing a land and sea package. So they are coming to stay at Disney at Walt Disney World to do parks, but then they're also doing a Disney cruise.
Right.
So that's kind of, and then, so a lot of times what happens is they'll have a reservation or a resort reservation at the beginning, and then they go on their cruise, and then they have another little chunk at a different resort at the end when they return.
Which we have actually considered doing. I have to add real quick that I love that I can hear in the next room, they have the Disney TV on, so I can hear the music, and it's a whole new world is playing right now.
Oh,
I love that that's our downtime. Like when no one's watching TV, that's our background noise.
Disney Plus is amazing. Like
it was. I don't think it's Disney Plus. I think it's that YouTube channel I sent you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Disney Plus. Resort TV.
They were watching Disney. Yeah, Resort TV. They were watching Disney Plus, but now they're not.
I was going to say I could hear the kids
love it.
earlier in the.
Oh, sorry.
No, mom life. Hello. But I could hear them earlier, and it sounded like they were having so much fun. I was assuming that they were
playing with the dog.
Disney. Oh,
they were watching. What did I tell you they were watching? They were watching Onward. Sorry, they were watching Onward in the tent with the dog, and
so cute.
It got a little crazy.
So adorable. I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, split stays. Back to that.
Woo, tangent. So that's the sort of definition of a split stay, or to give you a better idea of what we mean when we talk about it. And I wanted to throw out that with all of these changes we've been talking about in the Real Talk videos and in the planning series, I've been going back and forth. So originally my August vacation was a split stay between Polynesian and Beach Club, and we are DVC, so we had waitlisted the Polynesian portion. We had waitlisted to be at Beach Club so that we could stay at Beach Club the entire trip, which wasn't available prior because of Stormalong Bay and the proximity to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, because it was going to be a park trip. Well, since all of the changes in 2020, now Stormalong Bay is currently closed, and we don't have any indication of a reopening date. And because of the new, I guess the enhancements and the concept of wearing a mask at the parks all day, and the fact that we hadn't yet purchased our tickets and we didn't have a ticket package. And now that you need the reservations to get into the park, we basically decided that we're just not going to worry about it, because at this time still, we wouldn't be able to even purchase new tickets. So the idea was, let's just make it a non-park trip, which again, I will do an entire episode talking about. And I know you have a lot of experience and information to contribute to that type of a content show as well. It's something that we do regularly do, and we absolutely love. And it's funny because I've seen a couple of other vloggers out there doing non-park type videos, so it seems very timely right now.
Well, I mean, you can't do anything other than that right this second. So everyone that's staying at the resort.
Yeah, if you didn't already have park tickets, you can't do anything else right now anyway. So we should probably do that relatively soon. But because of those changes, so now we're not going to the parks. So the proximity to Epcot and Hollywood is not super important. And Stormalong Bay is closed. So I am considering putting it back to a split stay and doing half the time at Poly and half the time at Beach Club. So we'll keep you updated. That change may or may not be happening today. So something to just kind of follow up on.
I mean, ours got changed from All-Star Music to Pop, and then Animal Kingdom Lodge to Kidani Villas. Is that it, right? Yeah. So
Jumbo House to Kidani. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to change again, because I would really love for our split stay to just be a one stay.
I guess that's all the Pixie does for today.
If this episode has been helpful, please give us a like. And if you enjoyed the show, we'd love for you to subscribe below.
Tune in next week for more Disney tips, tricks, and chit chat.
You can also find us on Instagram for Extra Magic and message us to plan your next trip.
And remember, if you can dream it, we can plan it. Bye.
Bye.